video covering the possibilities for Destiny 2.2. And I say Destiny 2.2 like Destiny's subclass 2. Or 1.0 and 3.0 and different things like that. This is going to be covering basically how Destiny 2 could easily be a Overwatch 2, how it doesn't have to actually change the base game. It can run on the base game, can have the base everything the same, just change the number with a massive overhaul to things. And I think it should be a hell of a lot more than Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 completely fucked up that formula, but that formula is actually pretty fucking good. And Destiny 2, if you did not already know this, from Destiny 2 Vanilla to now is a completely different game, like 5 times over. It is insane how much has actually changed over the years, and it is amazing how much has actually changed over the years. Now, I'm going to show off a couple things here and there on how this could actually be improved and give a little bit of ideas here and there. The first idea is everything you're seeing, technically, where places like this can exist in a world like this. And I don't know a whole lot about the lore of this area, just I know what that is. That is the engine of a massive colony ship, I assume. Or like, I don't know what it is, I assume that's what it is, and that's what we describe it as. That's what I've always described it as when I show this place off. Because that is the best description in my mind and what it could actually be, because it is just, if you don't know, I know this much about the Dreaming City. The Dreaming City is a pocket dimension created by the light and the dark, and the light and the dark are not basic concepts, it is basic wordage. I want to make this perfectly clear. It's like calling Warhammer's 40k the warp the warp. The warp works, it is a basic title, but if you know anything about that franchise, yeah, the light and dark are just titles. Basic understanding. The light is fundamental creation. It is the physicals. Darkness is the intangibles. Best way to describe it. It's those two concepts that both are needed for an overall reality, which is why one side isn't bad, one side isn't good. It's like the cycle of life and death. It needs to happen. It's always happened. It is the cycle. It is existence. That general thing. Which is why the story is absolutely fucking insane if you actually listen to the words. Because holy fuck, a show in this universe? Whew, most things you see in gameplay aren't actually how it functions. Like, for an example, some cutscenes have showed Titans, like Zavala for an example, popping super after super after super after super, just bum rushing people, constantly going through a ship. And that's theoretically possible. And you can't just infinitely pop supers unless you're a hacker in this game. Just the actual possibilities. Because that, I think, is an engine. There is no ship there. It's just floating. And also, there is no land out there. We're just floating. And there's a fucking black hole. Like, this shit is awesome. And I think it's meant to be physical creation, which is the ship, which is why it's the light, and darkness, which is the void absorbing the light, that general thing, because this game has a lot of visual storytelling. It's fucking gorgeous. Now, a very cool thing I just got is this skimmer. This skimmer is actually a free-to-play skimmer. All you have to do is, I don't even think you have to have an expansion. I think it's completely free to play. I was going to say something around those lines, but it's literally play enough to get, I think it's 99 strange coins, and then you can buy it from Xur every weekend. It's a very fun skimmer, and it's identical. It's actually pretty good overall. Because every single skimmer thus far has been basically the same feeling, but skimmers overall are a lot of mobility options over what a Sparrow has, but is a lot slower than a Sparrow, so pros and cons. Which is something cool about this game. There is no outright meta. God rules even don't exist, and I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but God rules do not exist. If you start thinking in God rules, you start thinking in Call of Duty. God rules are, if you're going by per build, perfect. Per build God rules are how the game works. If you're going by per gun God rules, no, you can't do that. Every single gun has so many different rules, and some people are good with some guns that aren't good with some guns. Like, there are so many different possibilities with each individual firearm. You can have a melee build with, theoretically, every single, at least, auto rifle, scout rifle, pulse rifle, hand cannon, SMG, sidearms, bows, even shotguns, grenade launchers, fusion rifles, sniper rifles, okay. Sniper rifles will be hardest. That is the hardest thing out of all of these. Even scout rifles, you can actually pretty well make a melee build around them, but snipers are going to be the hardest. But theoretically, you actually can make a melee build with even trace rifles, which are basically laser beams, glaives, which are shooty pokey sticks, sidearm special ammos, which are rocket powered. Like, this game is amazing, and people want to boil it down so severely with god rolls, with meta. There has never once been a meta. If you want maximum super, what are you getting rid of? What is the pro to that con? Like, what is the con to that pro, rather? Because you can't do everything. You can get pretty close to doing everything, but you can't do everything. Even with Prismatic, you can't do everything. And something amazing, this game has pros and cons plastered all over it. Everything has pros and cons. Everything has push and pulls, basically. Where, like, for an example, the aspects. You can have 2 aspects out of all of these different versions. And this is the only time I've actually figured out a way to use Unbreakable at all with the Prismatic kit, and it's still not even really that good. I really think because of what this kit is really lacking for the Titan functionality is just the void. And I'm saying this because I like giving an explanation of what could be done. Because if you just give a this is bad, it's kind of in bad taste, my personal opinion. Giving an example of what could be better is always better. That could easily be just applied and swapped out there. And I don't know how they would balance. I don't know how they would do it. And I also think all of these light aspects should be free to play. I don't think they are. I think you actually have to have the expansion. I think they should be free to play. But that would be perfect. That alone will allow you to absolutely shred. Because the only problem with Titan Prismatic is the fact that Titan cannot heal themselves. Everything else, like this is on melee kill. That is good, but in higher end shit, it's not that good. Like, there are so many things that this kit can do, but it's not to that bar. If you had the ability to put Unbreakable on and Knockout, every single knockout punch, because if you didn't know, knockout actually triggers Radiant, or Facet of Dawn, and that general thing. So you can proc that and that at the same time, giving you health regen even if you don't kill them, which can keep you in the fight longer and allow you to do a whole lot of shit. It's insane what you can actually do with this game. And people don't talk about the little fine-tuning things, like the little things you can do as an individual, which is why I have my and this is not go watch it, but there's a reason why I have my any weather builds. It's any season episode, you can just play them and just have fun, and there's wiggle room for you, and I even explain where the wiggle room is for you and where you can actually have fun with the general builds. Now, there are some weapons that are actually primarily focused for one class or the other. I have said a whole lot that Titan is the movement class. Titan is the best movement class, hands down, because of what Titan's strength lifts can allow you to do. Unlike Hunter, where you have to always go the same distance, basically. You can easily, as Titan, do a little, I fucked up there, do a little hop, which allows you to get a little bit closer to allow you to melee and do all sorts of different things. The amount of movement you can do is amazing. And this carries all momentum. This launches you. And something amazing, that exists. So theoretically, you can just fucking soar. I don't like this. I personally prefer this because of the overall movement ability, because what it can actually allow you to do. But it can easily allow you, I fucked it up there, to soar higher than you ever could as Titan. And different weapons like this, like for an example, the healing auto is basically the Warlock's backup. It is basically because Warlock's overall kit, how they can spread out damage across everything, and the healing auto can get energy from just doing damage with anything, including other weapons. You don't have that open up if you didn't know that on my glaives, which is fucking beautiful. But because of that, you're able to use basically the Space Wizard's entire kit to full extent and just shred everything, giving yourself bonus damage depending on the roll, just overall healing depending on the roll, all sorts of shit. I don't know what there is for the Hunter in that same general, like, this is the Hunter, and I don't know what could be this is the Hunter, but that is like all that's missing out of those three. And I do think that there should be an exotic, like how D1 had class specific exotics. We only have the glaives. The glaives are decent now. I haven't really played with them all that much, but I think they're actually pretty good from what I know they can and can't do. Like, for an example, the bubble shield. One key thing that I really want to play with at some point is the easy on-demand bonus damage for all my weapons, basically as a miniature bubble. And different things like that. I think that's actually part. Maybe that got changed. Even the on-demand bubble that I can play with crystals, it's just fucking fun. Like there's so many different things you can do with overall things. And I'm doing this because I really want to get better looks, and this actually shows off a good bit of the gameplay, even though I'm not really hitting all my shots. What I'm wanting to do is get the entire I think that's, yeah, Crota's Inn, not Crota's Inn. The Taken King raid, exotic or not exotic, the Taken King armor. I don't have the boots, but once I can actually unlock the boots, because I don't have a raid team, that's the reason why I don't have that, and people generally don't mesh with me very well. It's sucky how people just do things, but yeah. Uh, I'm gonna plan on having the entire Taken King set for the entire look, because that should look pretty well, or pretty good overall. I assume somebody was gonna break the shield there because there's people here that are higher level. Thought, nope, there's only A7. Eh. Fives are brand new. Sixes could have played from the very beginning because of how the rank system works. The Guardian ranks aren't. They weren't always a thing, so they're not exactly. I was trying to finish. There we go. Not exactly a guarantee for their skill overall because of what it shows and how Destiny 2 skill is actually. When you see looking for experts, you can't ever say you're an expert at Destiny 2. Basically, is what I'm wanting to boil it down. But sixes could have played from the very beginning because of how sixes are the base. Like you could have played D2 vanilla, absolutely hated it, but launched right now, you're going to be a Guardian rank 6 kind of thing. If you're using the same count, mind you. The five and belows are all people that have played since the ranks came out, which means they're typically like brand spanking new, completely brand new. Might just be a brand new account, but overall completely new. Also, if you do not know how this event works, and this is also something I want to talk about, this overall thing is just on a destination. This is just on the Dreaming City, and if I think everyone actually has access to the Dreaming City, so you have an easy just horde mode. I never thought of this as Destiny 2's horde mode. There really should be more maps like this, and that's actually what I was gonna get to. Hell yeah. Destiny 2, one of the game modes Destiny 2 is fully missing is a completely endless horde mode. And this is basically completely endless horde mode because you're actually on a destination, not loading into a thing like a raid or a dungeon or anything like that. You're just on the destination, and you can run in through that door there and just load in here with random people playing and just all sorts of things. Like, it's pretty cool how this functions. Uh, but with that, there's only this out of all this general style of gameplay. It would be awesome if every single destination, and I do think part of the Destiny 2, and I'm talking about all the concepts of what this game brings, because with that you can get the ideas of what you could get, kind of thing. Like, without knowing the past, you can't know the future, because you're always doomed to repeat it. You can't see the possibilities with what everything is doing. Knowing the past is always better to help out with the future, kind of thing. Um, But part of the future that I want to talk about for Destiny 2 is the ability to have, or the possibility to have more Blindwell-esque activities. Like the EDZ. Having those, either the big mountain, or hell, big mountain and the tunnels both being used because like something's trying to siphon off the light from the shard, or the shard actually game isn't there anymore, but even the dark forest is still there, so they're trying to siphon off something there, and you're going in there to stop them and breaking up all of that, where it's seeping through into all of that, and that would allow a good map update to allow all sorts of cool things overall. And with this, I do suggest doing a full-on overhaul of the EDZ with this, like give Devon K better weapons, give him better armor, like overall just overhaul him. Basically give him the Neo Mooney and Pale Heart treatment, where he can just give you all sorts of good shit and things that you would actually want to grind for here and there. That would also open up the door for all sorts of things here and there, like Nessus actually having I forget what her name is. The person from last episode, Maya. I think that was her name, Maya Sundaresh. Maya Sundaresh. She she could come back and absolutely terraform Nessus completely and utterly, making it a completely different destination. Like, and I mean completely different destination, which might be a little much, and I'm giving broad ideas because I don't know exactly what the capabilities are and how much people are really wanting to do, and that some people say how much people are really wanting to do, and hear a bad thing. Everyone has to do what they can do. It's like working out. You can't do 1,000 reps instantaneously. You have to work on it. You have to get better and better and better, and you have to know your actual limits because you won't be able to push a car practically ever. Like, some people can actually push a car pretty easily. I'm one of them, and I'm not even in shape, which is part of the reason why I don't like doing stuff to get in shape, because I know if I actually get angry at somebody enough to actually punch somebody, and I'm actually in shape, with the fact that I can push cars, yeah. And I'm not saying that so you can believe me or anything like that. It's just scary to me to think that I could actually genuinely, like, in somebody's life pretty fucking easily, and I don't like that. I'm a gentle giant. um, but, what was I gonna say? And just so you know, I can't actually hurt somebody. I can never actually go full out, but if it is possible, and I have, like, how to put this? When I have punched somebody, I've never gone full strength. I always pull back a little bit at the last moment because I can't hurt them. I hate hurting. Even I am 6'2". 6'2"-ish. I don't know exactly where at. I might be a little bit smaller than 6'2", but I know I'm around 6'2". 6'2", and broad as fuck. My entire life, I have skipped sizes and all sorts of shit throughout my growth cycle and all sorts of things. And growth cycle sounds like plants, but it actually kind of works, you know? I'm sorry for talking more, I'm sorry for focusing more on talking than gameplay. I can't do both, and I'm sorry for that. The last thing I want to say is I couldn't even play football. Played football for a good bit. I couldn't do that. I could not hurt people. And I know that they were in pads. I know all sorts of different things about what football is and how football is good. But I could launch them, and I felt their impacts. I know they hurt because I hurt, kind of thing. It didn't... It... That general thing is just why I fear actually getting strong, because knowing my luck, if I ever do get strong, somebody's going to set me off, and then... Why is that bubble still there? That shouldn't still be there. I could have sworn. And then I could possibly hurt somebody that I really don't want to hurt, and then that's just... psyche obliterated, basically. What was I gonna say? Every single destination has possibilities for the overall overhauls for what could be done. Like the moon, it could get not hive corrupted. The nightmares could just, the ability itself could be absolutely untamed because Nezarec became fully imbued with the light. That could have been his final shape, his final form, his final existence, which is why he was in that for that raid. That could be why he was actually the previous one. It was Nightfall, but still, it could be because, or it could be when he got fused with the light, it gave him basically a solid state where he could physically die, where Nezarec himself actually cannot die. Nezarec is the only immortal thing, but... Nezarec and Fikrul are the only two truly immortal things, but because Nezarec got him fully imbued with the light, it might have made him where he could have a final death, kind of thing. And if that is the case, that could enable the absolute takeover of nightmare gunk all over the moon's surface, and basically converting it into how how Mars was, where there's escalation protocol literally fucking everywhere. Have the Altars of Sorrow literally fucking everywhere. And I'm giving these ideas. I'm not actually expecting them all to happen in one day, or in one fell swoop. They could all happen in one fell swoop, technically, because Bungie has said that they came with the cards close to their chest, and the fact that the next expansion is called Frontiers opens the door for some crazy shit. Sorry that you heard the alarm there. I really like Space Odyssey, but I have nowhere else to put it in any of my playlists except for My Alarm because it's such a unique song, and that is, in and of itself is a compliment. But uh, what was I gonna say? Because the next season or next expansion is called Frontiers, and what they've already said, even though they're keeping the cards close to their chest, or cards close to their chest, there can be some massive wiggle room for improvements. Like it could be insane for what they could bring. Like for an example, even though Bungie has kept their cards close to the chest, I know for a fact the next destination is going to have the Pathfinder system because they know that they love the Pathfinder system and they know people love the Pathfinder system, so they're going to keep the Pathfinder system going like they did for the Pale Heart. That general thing will just definitely be a case. And so many different things here and there could easily be the case for so many different things because of how they've said things overall. Like this game, for an example, like how I said at the very beginning, if people listened, people would know so much more about this beautiful game. Same for how the developers do shit. If people actually listen to the developers, they would know from the very beginning Destiny 2 was never going to end. Destiny 2 has so much more to give. And they've always said this. They never once said that Destiny 2 was ever going to end, which is the funniest thing. Everyone wants to bitch and say different sources. Bungie has never outright said it. People like taking the community, like God rules for an example. God rules don't exist. The community like saying they do, but people don't listen to the developers. They talk about so many cool roles, like in the different twids and twabs and different things like that, of different cool roles. It's different roles that actually could make a pretty good build if you know what you're actually trying to do with it. Like, different things like that. If you just listen to the game and listen to the developers, there's some crazy shit that could actually happen. I'm going to do one more go, and then I'm gonna call it a video because I don't think I have anything else I really want to talk about. Just the possibilities with this game are endless, and I've talked about how that is the next step in the subclasses. I think every single subclass should actually be able to use Prismatic because Prismatic is not and I think it should be. Oh yeah, I tackled two birds with one stone here. I did not know how you could actually have the like Unbreakable and stuff like that as a universal thing, as a free-to-play thing, but it could be because chronologically, the witness is dead. If new players log in, they can do a new quest line, and even you can if you really want to. As and you as a decade player, I'm trying to like streamline my thoughts, so I'm saying different things like an ad. It just helps with the overall flow of words, and I'm sorry about that. But if even if you are an old player, you can still get something cool from doing it. Like I'm thinking, like oh, giving you the exotic. It can give you for Unbreakable, giving you Ursa Furiosa. Pretty easily guaranteed because Ursa Furiosa was a Forsaken exotic, and that would give people more reason to do it. And for more dead or for hell, that each one can also give it an emblem, just a little flair here and there, just to give it more reason to be played for anyone just to try it out. Because it could be a dedicated mission that makes it a little bit more unique, unlike the actual quest line, because it's a more dedicated mission for the Unbreakable aspect. And even if you haven't done it, it could be like a new, like, the Traveler's trying to teach you something more about it. And it could be even a little bit buffed here and there, depending on what you really, like, you as in Bungie could really want to do there. Like, there's some fun wiggle room there. But the second bird with that is, fuck. That could be an easy open mission to let everyone do that and have that, but I forgot the second bird. Look. Aha! Remembered it, because I looked down at my Prismatic kit. The Prismatic Super, just the Super alone, and I do think the Prismatic kit itself should actually be allowed to get rid of the grenade if they really want to, because that alone, with the ability to have any grenade, is fucking fun. Like, that, with just the abilities of what it does, without that, could be an absolute game changer and will be an absolute game changer for any build. And I think that would allow, if you do that mission on any of your classes, and I do think it should be class specific or something like that, or you can do it, like, whoever launches it, it's their class, and then you launch it on somebody else, but you don't, like, get anything, or hell, you don't get the, that stuff is fine-tuning. I don't like doing fine-tuning because there is no guarantee what would actually feel the best and be the best until you actually playtest it, which is the downside to stuff like that, because it's overall risk reward, what overall is going into it. Like if you really want to do, if it is specific ones, and you really want to do, say, the Titan one, and you want to do the Hunter and the Warlock one, if it all gives you the same stuff every single go, it's not that fun. And if it gives you all of them, say you're playing as Hunter and you go do the Titan one, and it gives you both, that kind of gets rid of the fun factor. But if it only is like one reward across everything, like stuff like that, I don't know the fine-tuning aspects, so I can't actually say the fine-tuning aspects, which is something cool about art and stuff like that. Now, if, say for an example, that does happen, the possibilities are endless. Imagine an arc build. Say you are rocking Thunderclap, and you are using the Thunder Fists exotic gauntlet. I forget exactly what it's called, I'm just going to call it Thunder Fists. It gives a pretty good example of what it does. Thunder Fists. That exotic, with Prismatic just being able to be popped on the Titan subclass, will allow you to pop back-to-back jolting grenades that do thunderstorm damage, basically roaming thunderstorms, and then you can also do, roaming thunderstorms and have infinite thunderclap, 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 because the constant damage of the thunderstorms being able to proc the Prismatic thing of having to do constant damage. That would work, because it does work if you didn't play with it a little bit, because I did. In the first quest for the entire the Pale Heart season expansion, I'm just gonna stop. The Final Shape expansion, there we go. The Final Shape expansion, that expansion, if you play the first mission with any subclass, you can actually use the kit, and every single puddle you can actually use the Prismatic thing on any subclass. Play with it. Play with the possibilities. There are some fun things you can do, like things you couldn't do otherwise. Like, say for an example, Titan. I'm trying to finish there. Shit. Say for an example, Titan. Being able to have 2 grapples with the ability to have basically infinite grapples on... no, that's not a good example because you have to do melee damage. Its ability damage, technically, if you do the uppercut of Shran and do the flay, or I forget what it's called, the yeet, launching that forward, and maybe that alone, because I think it does actually count as melee damage, will count towards the overall thing. So theoretically, and I haven't tested this, but theoretically, that would, or hypothetically, actually, technically, because theoretical and hypothetical are 2 separate things, and I'm doing hypotheticals here, not theoreticals, or... It's more theoretical than hypothetical. Sorry about that. That most definitely hurts your brain, because even nerds get broken by that a little bit here and there. Like, the different versions of guns, like magazine, or different versions of ammo holders, magazine, cylinders, clips, and all the different types of versions here. And they're like belt-fed magazines, bigger cylinders, double cylinders, technically I think are... how you can describe a version where there's double up on the bullets, like Devil May Cry's gun technically would be or Dante's, I think it's Dante. No, it's Virgil's son. I forget what is it. Nero? I think that's what his name is. The double fire where it shoots 2, basically the double fire hand cannons in Destiny 2, but instead of shooting 1, 2, it shoots both. It's bang, bang, bang. Or wait, does it do a burst? Wait. Oh, that's another amazing crossover that could happen. Destiny 2 has amazing crossovers here and there with looks. I would love crossovers with exotics, because the concepts there are fucking fun. Like I talked about in a previous video, the possibility of a Doom crossover with Doom Eternal, or Doom whatever the next one is, with one of their weapons, and I thought of the concept for a good idea of the meat hook shotgun. Meat hook super shotgun. That super shotgun, and you just saw there how you can actually use it to move with anything, straight flip specifically, because you saw the momentum being transferred over. And I intentionally did that, just so you know. The meat hook could actually be a strand grapple that only works on enemies, and that could also work on grapple points here and there to allow it to have a little bit more uniqueness, because it's meant to be a crossover exotic to make it feel more like something else. And it could have like a lock-on feature, like the new healing auto, the healing auto, and the Lumina now. Both of them could allow you to have some pretty cool aspects here and there. And it could be a shotgun that could do some pretty cool shit in PvP and different things like that without being too broken, because it's a shotgun. It takes special ammo, and I think it should be in like the double fire frame, like what's it called? The raid exotic. I forget what it's called. The one that is literally the PvP gun. It is guaranteed pre's, guaranteed ignitions on the same gun, which is absolutely fucking busted for PvP because what it can actually do. But it should be in that same family, and there should be a way, like alternate fire button doesn't make it a. It will not change it from a. Or it will not do anything special. It will just change the fire mode, like how old. What's it called? Old Cerberus Plus One had the rapid fire thing on a tap, or not rapid fire thing, the inverse slow fire on a tap to give a whole lot. Now it's actually pretty good because it's on kill, not just on tap. But if the double fire shotgun was on tap, to allow you to basically change it from boom boom with one barrel than the other, like the new shotgun in Destiny 2 of the ignition freeze or freeze ignition, it could have the tap to allow you to toss both pellets or both bodies of pellets into the same target to allow you to do a massive boom of damage, basically equivalent to an ignition on one trigger pull, which would allow you to one-shot anything in Crucible. But the downside there, like a lot of things have, is 2 shots are being used. Guaranteed, that is boom. So if you whiff, and most people are going to whiff, a lot of people are going to whiff here and there, everyone's going to whiff here and there. But when you do, technically, you will not have those shots, and you will absolutely just get. And I'm glad you actually that's because I'm talking more. What was I gonna say? It would have that pros and cons even in PvP, and sure, you'll be able to grapple and go in, but I think the grapple should be a little bit different for getting to somebody. I don't think it should stun them or anything like that. I think it should be like, even visually, a different grapple, like more chained together. Unlike the very tight-knit woven grapple that you have now, it's more chain length look, where it's flimsy and just that way gonna grab you. It's conscience seeking technically because of Strand, dunk, and that's something kind of cool. Technically, when you are, I'm actually gonna go to orbit because I don't want to ruin their fun. Technically, when you are using Strand, you're using pure consciousness, which is shit. I need to go do that. The pro special thing, just to clarify, the cool thing about Strand is using pure consciousness, and there is some wiggle room with this too, because there's some possibilities for later down the line exotics with the overall concept of what you could actually do. Like there's some fun wiggle room here. But the funny thing is, technically, when you are tossing threadlings, you are making a consciousness saying, "Go get 'em, boy," to anything in front of you that is an enemy. So technically, you are weaponizing toddlers. And it's funny to me, but the concept of actually weaponizing toddlers is wrong, but because of what these are, it makes it funny. Because technically, it is weaponized toddlers because it's a baby intelligence. It is a literal intelligence that theoretically a warlock somewhere most definitely is trying to raise a threadling into a thread. Like, what the fuck would be a big threadling? The concepts there, and that alone could be an amazing exotic or super for the warlocks, like an alternate version instead of a fuck ton of threadlings, just the thread, just yeet a massive threadling, or hell, it could be a massive just summoning the thread into existence, and it just starts slamming shit and doing whatever it wants to do. Just a big boy, go get him, like the threadlings are and different things like that. Like the concepts there are fucking cool. Which is another reason why I would love a show in this universe, and I've talked about this in previous videos, a show in this universe set like every episode, or there can be parts, like a what if kind of thing. But instead of what if, it is what happened. How did this happen? It could even be called Destiny 2 What Happened. Like Marvel's What If. Or Destiny's What Happened, like Marvel's What If, just to have a little bit of fun with it, because it gives you the instant that is what it is, because it's what happened. And you can actually have the actual visuals of what actually happened on, say, the Almighty. how the Guardians actually brought down a Star Destroyer before it brought down the star, while also trying to survive the star's radiation. The actual visuals there. But the the only problem with a live action or animated or any show under the sun for Destiny 2 is technically the Guardian is the player. There is no character guardian. If they make a character guardian in the show, it wouldn't really work. Like, that's not how stories can work because it's all personal character growth and different things like that, how you did it. So it would have to be named things, and I don't know in lore if it's actually. I think. Okay, how about this? How do I put this? The Guardian, the character you play, is a different character in the lore. They are basically Jesus of the light and dark. They literally have the darkness in them, every flavor. They have the light in them, every flavor. They are basically just Jesus. Now, with that, there cannot be multiple Jesuses. I don't think it. How to put this? There's only the Guardian. The Guardian has gone in and done shit that the Guardian shouldn't be able to do, like be able to take on gods and different things like that because of how this story works. So I don't know how a show would actually portray that, except for a massive glowing figure. Like, it would have to be you never actually see the Guardian, you just hear what the Guardian did. Like how it would have to, like, you cannot say every guardian did this course of action. You have to say this the guardian somehow fucking killed a god. Do you Drifter, do you know how that happened? That general thing. Like, and that could lead into an amazing story, an amazing video, and just the concept of how it happened. Like, it's and not how in the course of action, but it's I, I'm rambling. Sorry. That is actually where I started rambling because a lot of times I'm trying to get a certain thought and it doesn't actually work, so I try and say different ways. But that time I'm just trying to grasp at straws basically because it's general concept that is amazing, but I don't know enough about it. Sorry about that, y'all. With all that said, shown and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will catch y'all on the next one.